This was supposed to be the year Arsenal roared back into Champions League contention. Fresh off winning the FA Cup, extending Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's deal and strengthening in the summer, the Gunners were ready for another season of prosperity under Mikel Arteta. But since claiming consecutive victories at the start of the campaign, things have gone horribly wrong. Arsenal have won just once in the league since the 19th of September, tasting defeat on 8 separate occasions. Now 4 points from safety after 14 games, a relegation battle has become a very real possibility. To avoid this unthinkable scenario, the goals have to return. Their creativity has disappeared, and but for Gabriel, none of their new signings have impressed on a consistent basis. Arteta looks shell-shocked, and rumblings of discontent have returned to North London once more. So how can Arsenal fix their failing season? We're going to take a look at what's going wrong and outline 3 players who could make all the difference at the Emirates. Let's go. Aside from disciplinary issues, the Gunners' main problem is that they have forgotten how to score. The majority of their defeats have all told a similar story. Plenty of possession, plenty of crosses, but a severe lack of imagination when it comes to unlocking the opposition defence. On average, just 18% of their crosses are finding a striker in the box, with their attack often limited to just 2 shots on target within a stream of worthless attempts. It's been all too easy for other teams to sit back and invite Arsenal onto them in the knowledge that they lack the cutting edge to do any damage. They seriously lack a dynamic midfielder capable of providing that defence-splitting pass. Arsenal boast the 4th best pass completion rate in the Premier League, but for all their possession they have scored just 8 times from open play, while Willian is the only member of the squad who is currently averaging over 1.5 key passes per 90. Much of their work in midfield involves going sideways, and any play into the final third becomes concentrated on the wings, which their crossing statistics prove have been a largely ineffective tactic. Aubameyang is particularly struggling as a result of this. While he's scored just 3 goals so far, his XG is even lower at 2.64, showing that while his performances have dropped, he's not getting any service either. His shots per game have hit a 9-year low, though he still hits the target at a fairly consistent rate. If Arsenal could find a new creative midfielder capable of providing Aubameyang with a consistent rate of higher quality chances, then both their fortunes could dramatically improve. The first contender, and a name that is often linked with the Gunners, is Lyon star Houssem Aouar. Back in the summer, it appeared the Arsenal hierarchy faced a straight choice between signing the Frenchman and Thomas Partey, ultimately going with the Atletico Madrid enforcer. That decision could yet pay off in the long run, but unfortunately injury has restricted the Ghanaian to just 280 minutes of Premier League action. In the short term, you can't help but feel that Aouar would have boosted the Gunners' attack. The 25-year-old has enjoyed a steady if unremarkable start to the 2021 campaign. In Ligue, he has registered 3 goals and 3 assists from 12 appearances and is only posting 1.4 key passes per 90. That said, only Memphis Depay takes more than his 2.5 shots per game in the Lyon squad, leaving him on 5 shot creating actions per match. No one in the Arsenal side comes close to matching this, especially in the midfield. Danny Sabars is currently the only Gunner from the middle of the park to even register a single league assist this season. It's also worth noting how brilliant Aouar can be when running at his best. In 18-19, the Lyon Academy graduate hit 7 goals and 10 assists in the league and in Europe, and last summer ranked in the top 10 in France for a range of metrics including through balls, progressive passing distance and players dribbled past. And at just 22 years old, he will only get better. There's no wonder Lyon president Jean-Michel Aulas refused outright to entertain any bids below £54 million for his star during Arsenal's previous flirtation with the player back in September. The papers are suggesting that they could try for Aouar again this January, with the current TV revenue problems within French football potentially handing them a golden opportunity to land the midfielder on the cheap. But with PSG reportedly in the hunt too, bringing the Champions League semi-finalists to the Emirates in its current state could prove a challenge. Another player Arsenal could turn to this January is Emiliano Buendía, and unlike Aouar, the Argentine would have little trouble adapting to the Premier League. The Norwich City midfielder was one of the division's surprise packages last season, putting up some extraordinary numbers in the Canaries' doomed return to the top flight. Though he would score just once and manage 7 assists, Buendía completed a huge 3.3 key passes per 90. Kevin De Bruyne was the only player who managed more, while the Belgian Jack Grealish and Liverpool's Trent Alexander-Arnold were the only players who created more than Buendía's 70 chances in total. He was also one of the best dribblers too, completing 102 at around 2.8 per match. It was a remarkable feat considering Norwich's overall limitations and minnow status. Many assumed the 23-year-old would move on from Carrow Road last summer, especially considering Jamal Lewis and Ben Godfrey both sealed big money returns to the Premier League. But the former Getafe man stayed in Norfolk for another championship promotion push and has been imperious once more. Back in the division where he managed 20 goal involvements in 2018-19, Buendía has scored 6 and assisted 6 in the current campaign. But beyond that, his creative numbers have remained exceptional. Buendía is arguably the most complete attacking midfielder outside the English top flight, leading his squad for shots per game and topping the championship with 3.3 key passes per 90. His all-round passing game has been exceptional too, nearly doubling his activity on last season and contributing 5 long balls and crosses per game. And although he isn't dribbling as much, his take-on success rate has risen to 72%, showing he has become much more productive with his efforts. And if that wasn't enough, Buendía has remained tenacious defensively, ranking 3rd in the championship for successful tackles at the time of writing. Of course, he is playing in a weaker division than before, but that doesn't excuse the fact for a 3rd season in a row the former Argentina under-20 international has been exceptional. And if reports are to be believed, Arsenal are keeping an eye on him. Many fans have been calling for his signature on social media, and compared to Aouar, it's far more likely the Gunners would be able to sign him. However, valued around £30 million, he won't come cheap either, and noise in the Buendía camp suggests he is focused on returning Norwich to the Premier League. And there is also the fact he plays almost exclusively on the right of the forward line, rather than in the midfield, so may need to alter his positioning at the Emirates. But given the opportunity, Arsenal should certainly consider Buendía, as after another fine season under Daniel Farke, it's impossible to believe another big name won't move for him first. But if they can't find anyone to sign, Arteta should consider looking within his own ranks for a solution, in particular Emile Smith Rowe. Now 20 years old, the young Englishman has been a known figure in North London for a couple of seasons. But despite making his first team debut back in 2018, he is still yet to be given a proper stretch in the first team. To date, he has only played 15 times for Arsenal, with most of his appearances coming in cup competitions. But a loan spell at Huddersfield last season revealed what kind of potential he possesses. Smith Rowe was relatively successful with the Terriers, scoring 2 and assisting 2 in just under 1,200 minutes of championship action. He racked up 1.5 shots per game, while no member of the squad could better his 2.1 key passes per 90. What's all the more impressive is the fact he maintained a pass success rate of 87%, despite operating almost exclusively in the final third of the pitch. And he has enjoyed similar success in the Europa League this term, adding 3 more goal involvements to his collection. Of course, the Championship and the Europa League group stages are a long way off Premier League standard. But considering just how much the Gunners have struggled so far, giving Smith Rowe a proper chance could be the gamble Arteta needs to take. If not, a return to the fold for a certain Mesut Ozil could be on the cards. Something needs to change at Arsenal, and soon. Whether that is buying a new player, a switch up of tactics, or changing the manager, January could prove the tipping point in the Gunners' season. Arteta is adamant he is the man to lead that change, but time could be running out for the Spaniard to convince the Arsenal boardroom that's true. So that was how to fix Arsenal's season, but what did you make of it? Let us know in the comments below and we'll do our best to reply. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave it a like, and why not stick around by clicking on screen right now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.